I'm sitting here thinking about sin. When you sin, when you get arrested, to your sin is created to sin is created to bind you, to arrest you. The problem with people today is they're trying to live in their sin. But you can't live in your sin. You can only sow your royal oats. You should have been found a stable place by sowing your royal oats. You can't live in sin though. You can't live in sin. You can't live in sin because when you live in sin, and it binds you and it arrests you. I'm tired, y'all. When you live in sin and it binds you and arrests you, it's gonna kill you. It's kill you slowly. It's decomposing you right there. Sin, you know. Illness is birthed from sin. You sow your royal oats, okay. You sow your royal oats, let's say 25 years old, 33 years old, you get out of it. Well, you're gonna have to heal. You're gonna have to heal from some stuff. You're gonna have to use that time to heal before you even think about getting in another relationship. Probably even a regular friend relationship. And when you do that, when you do that, I like go out and win. Go out and win. When you know when you sin, when you sin, you get binded to your sins. And when you get binded to your sins start to slowly decompose you. You just gotta acknowledge it in order to grab you and hold you, you know what I'm saying? Like, illnesses is birth from sin. When you start having problems, when you start having illnesses, it's better to start right then and there looking into where the problems came from. Right then and there and start noticing where the problems came from. And it's probably gonna resonate from that sin that you started committing. You know? Some people, I think, stay in a situation because of way it fades out. Friends are coming around you. Remember this? Remember that? Remember we used to do this? Remember we used to do that? Well, the thing is that you need to listen to that. They be like, you remember this? You remember we used to do that? How do that make you feel? It's almost like you can use a celebrity. You can use a celebrity for a change. Celebrity quit, retired. He ain't quit, he retired. good, you got it going on. But then the energy shifts, the frequency shifts. This celebrity wanna, these people, he's starting to notice the difference in the fans. And then he's starting to notice the fans say, you remember this, I remember this, I remember when you used to do this or did that. And then what they typically want to do, jump back in another movie. Jump back into the celebrity status. That's the wrong move. Don't do that because the energy shifted. It's like the energy is testing you. The energy want to see where your heart at. Have you truly let this celebrity situation go? Or, you know what I'm saying? Have you truly let the celebrity situation go? Or, you know, do you still want to be a celebrity? So, how do you react when that kind of stuff presents itself? That's the key. Man, a lot of y'all are, you know, can you get out of your celebrity mode? Because, see, the energy gonna shift anyway for you. So it's like you're trying to keep up a facade. We must reflect on our grandparents. And some of us, our parents. The way they talk to us. The way they comfort us. Where did they get that from? Where did they get that from? They got that from wisdom. What is wisdom? Wisdom ain't knowledge. Wisdom is understanding the moment in time when you was in the situation. Learning from the wounds and the scars. That's what wisdom is. So wisdom is what your grandparents are reflecting. You know what I'm saying? Your grandparents are reflecting wisdom. That's why they sit there and they tell you something. And you figure out, oh, you don't know you this, that, blah, 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 blah. But they do know. They know exactly how your outcome probably gonna be. My grandma could tell by the gang that I was hanging around with which one I need to get rid of by the way they walk. And she was right every time. She was right every time. This person gonna use you, this person sorry, this person gonna just use you, this person, you know, whatever. And at first I didn't want to listen, but seeing I was so close to my grandparents, I always paid attention. Even when they thought I wasn't listening, I was paying attention. So it's like, even in this situation, it's like really we just waiting on people to grow up. So the time is ticking. And I remember a few years ago, everybody was like, hey, I said 50 years old. And everybody was like, I could feel it. Everybody was like, man, that's a long time. But now look, it's right around the corner. What have you achieved? Really achieved? Did you start over with another family, with another person? That's not achievement, really. Unless you know for a fact that it's gonna work. You ain't gonna know that till you get into the relationship, right? See what I'm saying? Like, there's so much we need to learn, like, there's so much we need to understand that we don't want to understand. But sin, when you're arrested to your sins is meant to devour you. I know people who are so attached to their sins, they do black magic just to stay in their sins. And even that don't last, and it's got a devastating end. I wonder why Zen so quiet. Zen be tripping me out. intelligence is something not to forsake if you got it. Oh, I should probably know this book. So what sin do? Sin, you stay in it too long, especially after 25 and 33, it's gonna grab you. If you keep going from bed to bed, you're gonna get in a bed that you're gonna have to stay in by force. Or at least that's how you're gonna feel, because you might get something Ajax can't get out for you. And you and that person gonna have to share that. That's how you're gonna feel anyway, you know? Same thing with drugs. You do drugs, you're gonna get to the point where you realize you need a drug to go to bed and you realize you need a drug to wake up. Binded. You gotta recognize when you get binded. That's why when you get binded, you get a seared heart. Because when you get binded, you broken. Oh, I caught this. Oh man, you broke. You broken. So now your heart finna get seared. You finna get that I can care less heart. That's why it's so hard for you to come back from a seared heart. That's why you can't call nobody, you can't go look at nobody, you can't go see nobody. You can go to a counselor if you want to, but it's really not gonna help you out that much, and it might will, you never know. But you just feel empty inside, cause you always thinking about that last moment, that last person. Why did I be with this person? You know, why did I do that? Your heart gonna start to grow seared inside. You're gonna be hollowed inside, and you just don't know what to do. And then when you get binded, that's when the cycles and the repetition gonna start. But no, the repetition and the cycles actually start before you get binded. When you get binded, you get that seared heart. That's when you need to worry, because you do not want to die with no seared heart. It ain't no negotiating with God. God already created you. I saw God look at a baby, and God, I can't tell you what his reaction was. But God was like, he looked at that baby and he could see all the sin that baby was already gonna do before that baby got grown. He could see everything that baby was gonna do. He could see all the wrong that baby was gonna do. A little baby. He looked at the baby. The way he looked at the baby just said everything. But he said something too. But I ain't gonna say. but it's like he knew everything that baby was gonna be when it growed up. Because the sin told God already. That's why God said, I knew you before you were born. God said, I knew you before you were born. So it's like, a lot of y'all, I'm going to tell you, a lot of y'all just scared of relationship. Y'all had bad experiences with relationships. That's why you shouldn't, you need to, I keep saying, I keep preaching, I'm tired of saying it. You need to find your twin or your flame. Because you're going to be amazed how y'all feel towards one another. And how y'all build with one another. Even if you are, me and my flame, we don't deal with each other. But when the little time that we did deal with each other, that's why she kept crying. Because she didn't get it. She couldn't get it. I knew it though. I knew what was going on. Because it as bad as we both was at the time, we wasn't really arguing. I mean, we did it first. But once we got to know each other and got used to each other, which didn't even take longer than 3 or 4 days, we were laughing all the time. I have her laughing hard, bro. She be laughing, we be laughing all the time. Especially when she trying to get under my skin, and I just make her laugh. Cause I tell her what she trying to do, you know what I'm saying? How it ain't gonna work anyway. But that's what broke her down, you know what I'm saying? Because she didn't know that kind of relationship exists. I didn't need it though, not to that degree. Because when I was going with flames and stuff in the past, I didn't notice they were flames. I didn't know about all that. But when I started understanding it, and then I finally got in a relationship, not a relationship, but I finally got in a friendship, and I met a flame, I got to understanding it. It's like y'all, you don't have to correct one another really. You don't have to expect from one another. You can just feel it. You know? Okay, she's finna come home from work. She's gonna be tired. I might need to massage her feet. I might need to make dinner for the night. I can feel it. You know what I'm saying? She ain't gotta come home and give me no check. Cause I'm a working man, even though she making a lot more than I am. I deal with my own, I got my own. I take care of my own. And then you're gonna show love to each other when you're able to take care of your own as an individual. You're whole individuals before you even come together. It don't get no beautiful than that. And it ain't just her, it's twins, flames, soulmates. The only difference in them is the years if y'all gonna probably be together. Maybe. One you got 45 years, one you got 100 years with. Depending on when you got together. In my case, it'll be for the rest of my life. I'm already, halfway up through there. See, our grandparents knew this stuff. It's like somebody directed us away. Back in the days, we used to sow our royal oats and be introduced as kids to the one we're gonna marry. So when we go out there and sow our royal oats, when it's time for us to get married, we went back to that person that we were supposed to marry. A lot of people don't know this. I can't remember where I learned it. I studied this somewhere. I was studying old history stuff. Very old history stuff that they didn't want us to know. And that's how it was before we was broken down and re-navigated. That's what we did. We was introduced to the person we were supposed to be with, probably even grew up as friends, but went our ways, sold our royal oats, and then came back together and got married. That's kind of what Coming to America was trying to say. But no offense or nothing, but the movie kind of took the other approach. Like, it took the more modern approach. But it was actually the right way. It was actually would have been, he went and sold his royal oats, and he came back and married a kangaroo. So, that's how, I ain't trying to be funny, and I'm just saying that's how it is, It's something about that gene, it's something about y'all DNA. It's amazing. And the reason why I use my flame a lot is because we were both in low vibration. We should have tore each other's heads off. And we should have continued until we successfully did it. But immediately after 3 or 4 days, we started growing a love for one another. You know what I'm saying? And immediately we had to separate. It wasn't going to work no way. You know what I'm saying? We had to separate. We had to separate. That's why I use her like for an example. And I'm talking about genetically it affects you in so many ways, like whatever this person do. It's like not long after we could tell that we would think what we were thinking without talking to each other. And dead on. And like I said, it ain't just with her, it ain't her. It's the flame, it's the science and the nature of flame twins and soulmates. Because I remember the same feeling with the other ones in the past, but I didn't notice what was going on then. I thought they was doing something. When you in a relationship like that, you swear it's black magic. You swear it's black magic and whatever. somebody spying on you. I ain't know about black magic then, so I'm thinking somebody was spying. But it wasn't that. It wasn't that. I can prove it. Somehow I bet you every woman that I've been with in my past is involved in this situation. How do I know that? I ain't supposed to know that. Because they from the same tree. They myself know flame twins and soulmates. It's the science in it. And when you look at this, your whole life come together. Everything you ever been through, every person you ever met, probably even all the way down to the restaurant you done went to. Even if you just went there once. It's like people start tying in together. Like y'all been knowing each other your whole life. But I can almost guarantee, and some of the girls I was probably supposed to date, I didn't date, is involved in this, was also my twins of flames. I know that for a fact. You found the tree. All I did was, when I found the tree, all I did was spin it from the south node to the north node. And of course, since the timeline out, that really didn't work out too good. You know what I'm saying? But it was just because the timeline is off. Very bad when it comes to me. That's the same thing with your nature in your gardens and your forests. It spins. If I ain't mistaken. And that's why sometimes, if you're a male, you seem different in your forest. It's really just spinning. Especially if you're afloat, royalty, and you probably don't know it. You renting. Or someone renting from you. It's like we share structural. I'm telling y'all, we all are connected. Everybody's connected somehow. But especially with your tree. Each and every last one, everybody who attacked me, you might have got the money, but something on your body failed you. That's why I say you got to be careful when you get out here and get binded to sin, because see, when we start getting introduced, after we done got the knowledge and the understanding about flames and twins and stuff like that, and they come into our life, that is easily God saying, okay, it's time to settle down. See, people look at it like, okay, you settle down at 50 years old. That's what the saying is. That's if you live a pretty decent life. But if you live a fast life, common sense will tell you, you cutting 50 years old down, probably in your mid-30s or mid-40s, if not before then. You know what I'm saying? So what I mean by that? What I mean by that is this. You probably was wild. You probably was overly sexually active. So if you don't hurry up and get out of that situation, by the time if you do think you're going to wait till 50 years old to get married, your well going to be no ran dry. So I have menopause and this and that. You know what I'm saying? You got to notice this stuff. It's like our bodies tell you can't just be out there and party like rock, so you're waiting on the science to come up with something so you can be limitless. Get off of it already. Your body tells you. Your garden tells you. Your forest tells you. STDs tell you. The deformity in your body tell you. Okay, it's time to stop. This ain't cool and it ain't cute. Warning, that's what it's trying to tell you. I'm telling y'all, listen what I'm telling you now. There's a plate inside of you. This plate is thin, like 2 pieces of paper. And every person you sleep with, it collect all the way down to the first person you ever been with. It collect DNA. If you watch that movie I was telling you about. And in that movie, I think in the second one or the first one, no, it's the first one, he showed the sand come up. And I said, God can see everybody. Everybody in Astro can see everything you do all the time when you do it. And it showed his grandma come up and she was crying in the sand. And everybody saw it. All the spiritual court, everybody saw it. And you fighting, it showed them fighting. 2 brothers fighting each other, everybody saw it. That's real. All that was real. But in my case, I ain't see it like in my case, they was on clouds. It's like you on a cloud. And it shows, I saw a vision where you was on a cloud. And your whole home, everything you do in your home is on a cloud. And it shows you sleeping. You sleep too much. It shows you get up. Everybody can see this. God, everybody in the astro can see this. It show you sleeping too much, show you reading. It show you praying, meditating. But it also show you doing stuff you ain't got no business doing. And they just look at you and they monitor you. The analysts look at you and they monitor you. The judges, the spiritual courts. Then they give you a rope. I gave you a lover until you sacrificed him. And if you didn't sacrifice, somebody probably already sacrificed it for you, so you went over there to your lover and you started attacking them. We saw you over here in the spiritual. So they gave you a rope. We allowed you to rob them, but we gave you a rope. Okay, now you're starting to have strokes. You laughed at him when he had a stroke. Now you having strokes. That's part of that rope. Now your body seems to be dysfunctional. You can't control your body in and out. You down and up. I'm gonna wait to 50 years old. You already done lived too fast. You already over 50 years old, even though you ain't nothing but 30 years old. You don't get that privilege. That privilege go to people who live their life right. You lived your life fast. On the external, you looking like you ready to go. But on the internal, you already old. I thought they took my poetry away from me. You did take it. But now it's back. And you owe. Tax. Interest. You can't just sit. This ain't the game, bro. This ain't how we moving. Like, it's some real stuff. When they sacrifice, if you could go back on the card reading, this is what scared the card reader. When they did a sacrifice years ago, 5, 6, 7 years ago, whoever they sacrificed, could be me, anybody. One of the card readers said, I ain't never in my life seen this many major arcana show up after they done sacrifice somebody like this. And then other card readers that wasn't even connected to those card readers said the same thing. It was like, wow, they don't even know who they dealing with. That's what I'm telling you. People used to send bad energy to me, demonic spirits to me, and all that stuff to me. And the spirits would go back to the person who sent it to me and say, do you even know who that is? Yeah, they scared of my flame, but they really scared of this. Her energy don't mess with me either. They just get on my nerves and try to tempt me with her ethers. She got her ether, I got my ether. She got her planet, I got my planet. See what I'm saying? Y'all gotta get it before you got it, bro. And then once you got it, good. Quit playing around with your life. Because some of y'all scared of prison. You doing whatever it takes not to go to prison. You make sure you don't go to prison. How the hell you going to be that scared of prison and think you brave enough to go to Hades? You talking about 20 times, 30 times worse than prison, if not more. 2 hours in hell is 42 hours. That's another thing that movie said. I said that. I've been saying that. That movie said 5 years in hell is 500 years. That is the eternity. That's a life sentence. You just go in there and you go through whatever they're finna put you through, and God will come back out and give you a chance again. You got 3 times before you go back in there forever. How do I know this? Telling y'all better quit playing, bro. And then some of y'all, you know, like I said, my float, Hopefully ain't nobody doing that now, even though I'd be skeptical. My float is a more trickier float. It ain't like my flame float. Flame float, you just hot or cold or whatever, and you just ready to go. you in your hell mode, period. This float, you try to trick folks, narcissist folks, hypocrites. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. And you know what I mean? Yeah. And you just bind it to my flow. Hell or heaven, you go. That's the difference between me and my flame float. See what I'm saying? This ain't the time for that playing all them games y'all been playing, bro. Y'all know that now, though. I can tell by the way y'all energy. If you ain't stagnated, you really are trying to grow. So, obviously the poetry done came back, because I ain't even trying to flow. It's just naturally in me to flow. That God glow. Now, Smoke. Listen to me, Smoke. Dance for me a little bit more. Now out the window you go. Thank you, Smoke. Just like that right there. You get what I'm talking about? Anyway, so that's what I'm trying to tell you folks out there. But when you get by there, at least if you don't want to grow now, at least notice when you done. That's one thing. That's how I was able to abstract out of the street so easily. I realized when the drugs told me no more. I realized when the sex told me no more. I realized when the gangster stuff told me no more. If you keep going down that road, it's going to seal your heart in such a way you will no longer be able to grow. And I promise you that.